Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, listeners. This is your host, Constant Taylor, and welcome to Business Innovators Radio. Today, we have a very special guest on the show, and they're going to share some very powerful information with us. So, if you're looking to increase your personal and professional effectiveness, then you've come to the right place. Our special guest today is Beth Ramsay. Beth has been speaking professionally for over 10 years. Her content is primarily personality profiling and innovative problem solving. She also does strategic planning. She speaks primarily nationally and is based out of Florida. She has a book coming out soon called Love to Lead, The Edicts of True Leaders and Why Others Want to Follow Them. Beth, that's a pretty impressive resume. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. We know that you have a very busy schedule, so we'll just go ahead and jump right in. Can you tell the listeners exactly what you do and how you provide services to your customers?
Well, I'd be happy to. What I love to do is go into a business who is having some issues or some problems that are affecting productivity and especially the bottom line, and be able to come up with creative solutions to fix those things. And they don't have to be long and drawn out. They don't have to be all these big, complicated, convoluted things. It's actually pretty simple when you look at it. And that's what I do. I have more people telling me, God golly, Beth, you make this information so easy. So I pride myself in that.
Okay, that is awesome. One of the things that I love about people that I do business with, and one of the things that I love to do is to break things down to their lowest form. There's so much complexity in the world, and the tax system, the bureaucracy that we have in the federal system. So it's good to see people that are breaking things down to their lowest common denominator. Now, what types of groups do you speak with? Large groups? Do you speak with individual one-on-one business owners? How does that work?
Well, I am more one-on-one with business owners and top managers at first to discover what is going on. They give me all the hurts and the pains and the issues, and then I come up with some creative strategies on how to deal with that, and then that leads me to the larger group. Okay.
So could you give us a quick business case of a company who was having an issue and how you went in, identified the pains, and provided a solution?
Oh, sure. I have one right now, actually, that I'm in the process of working through. This is almost like it's a two-faceted thing. I have a company that is speaking to me, and they have 3 owners. So it's not just one person, it's 3 of them. So you have that dynamic going, and 2 of these owners work together really well. And the 3rd owner, they really like her, they love her, everybody gets along, they're friends, but the working style is so completely different than the other 2 who seem to mesh and gel well, that it's creating a problem. Well, not only does it create a problem at the ownership level, but it has now gone down into the staff. They have a small staff of about 12 people, so it's not a big, huge company, but it's about 12 people, and they are growing. They've grown from 3 people to 12 in just a year and a half. So they have a lot more. They want to go to multi-locations, things like that. But now what's happened is this issue between the owners has gone down to the staff, to where the staff has actually said to one of these 2 people, oh, we don't listen to her because we know she's going to change her mind, or we know that we don't have to do that.
Wow.
So as anybody who owns or runs a business knows, you can't have that.
Absolutely.
And so there's got to be a cohesive message, a cohesive team. So my first level is to be working with the 3 of them to better understand one another. Since I do the behaviors and the personality styles, I go into real deep. Here's what your motivation is. Here's what your key factor is. Here's where you're stressful. Here's where you don't match with them. Here's where they don't match with you. Here, this kind of thing. And it's to promote a much higher level of understanding And one of these three is a little more controlling, although she doesn't want to be. She kind of feels because the other two are kind of sniping or not working together as well, she's the one who has to step in and be the decision maker. Well, she doesn't want to do that. So a part of all of this is that we need to kind of sort out where one person's backyard ends and the other person's yard begins. And that's real important right there. And then the next step is to go down to the whole group as a team and do the personality profiling and all the behavior styles there so that everybody can understand one another as a team. So I've had, it's like two things right there.
Okay. So now with the three individuals, so you identified there's a dominant personality style. What are the other two personality styles?
The other two, one is more analytical.
Okay.
So then the third one, the one who is totally opposite than the other two, is really outgoing and funny and boisterous and talkative, which is great. That person, they're just people, and they're warm and engaging, but that's not meshing with the other two, where they're more analytical, more kind of toned down, that kind of thing. And so what happens, one of the downsides to the really outgoing, funny kind of people, sometimes they have a hard time organizing their thoughts and then putting that into action.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're dealing with two other owners who are very good at organizing their thoughts and putting action in. So they're having a hard time with this other person who has her own gifts and talents, but they don't understand why she's not being more like they are. Well, she can't. So she's not wired that way.
Mm-hmm.
So part of our plan is to change the duties a little bit and areas of responsibility and what they're supposed to be doing within the business to better reflect gifts are.
Excellent. That was, you took the words right out of my mouth, because I was going to ask what were the functions and the titles of the individuals, and do they coordinate, or are they aligned with their actual duties?
Well, we're changing that because they weren't. And so the one who didn't want to keep making the business decisions because she wanted to include the other two, she has now come out front. Actually, her skill set is going out into the community and filling the customer funnel. But she hasn't felt that she's been able to do that because of the other two, and the one that's the outgoing and, can't seem to, in their mind, she can't seem to get her organization together and then move forward. But in reality, she's very organized and she is moving forward, and she's got a service to give that a lot of customers like.
Excellent.
So it's just understanding each other's areas and then moving them where they want to be and where their gifts support that. And their business is going to take off. They're looking at a second location, and I'll bet you within 2 years they'll have it.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you hit directly on the key areas, and I do consulting myself, and that's exactly what I would have looked at. I don't have the expertise in personality profiling, which is an additional asset that you're bringing to the table there. But it sounds like that you took that case and you knocked it right out of the park.
Oh, I did that with an attorney office a couple of years ago, that they had a key person who was kind of one of the all-around paralegals, I can do everything kind of thing. So the lawyer was so scared that she was going to quit because someone else in the office kept bugging her to death, when in reality I went in, again, did all the personality behavior programs. They thought it was fun. I mean, everybody loves it. It's funny and it's engaging, and it was such helpful information that you don't use just at work, but you could use it in your personal relationships and in your family and your friends. Anyway, but what it turns out to be is the person who kept interrupting was a gentleman who was very people-oriented, and where they physically had him in her office was back in a corner where he was not getting any people interaction. So just by physically pulling him out, putting him up front, changing the responsibilities just a little bit to where he was the one that answered the phone, he was the one that greeted all the clients who came in the office, he was getting his people interaction needs met, which then made him stop bothering the other girl who hated having interruptions because she's the type that would just put her head down and get her work done.
Right.
She didn't want all the social interaction. So everybody was happy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome that you're able to come in and identify, because when you're actually in that situation, it's a lot harder to identify the things that are obvious, especially to someone coming in and looking at this from a 50,000 foot view. So we talked about personality profiling and innovative problem solving, which you do very well. Could you talk a little bit about strategic planning and how you help organizations with that aspect of the business?
Oh, absolutely. I love strategic planning, and here's why. It doesn't have to hurt. And if we ever look at any strategic plans, usually they go on for pages and pages and pages, and they have writing that's in about 9-point font, and they have all these details and all these bullet points and all this stuff. And when you say the words strategic planning, people's eyes roll in the back of their heads, and they check out. So I don't even use those words if I'm actually working with a group. I don't use those words. But I can lead a group of people into future planning in an hour or less without pain or drama. It can be done. And I have done it a lot. And that, I love it. And that also, part of that is what I call a what's stupid meeting, trademarked, by the way.
Okay.
So, but what's stupid, and what that does is I facilitate just really quick round table discussion, fast, on what's stupid that's keeping you from doing the best job you can possibly do. What is it? And the perfect example is my own office. We had moved our office location, and after about a year of being in the new location, I said, okay, I think it's time for a What's Stupid meeting. We haven't done this for a while, and let's do that. And so the first person who raised her hand was my receptionist, and she put her hand up and she said, I think it's stupid that I have to get up and tell someone they have a phone call. I'm like, well, why are you doing that? We have an expensive, fancy phone system that has intercom, and you just press the button. She said, because it's not programmed. Now, that's my own office for a year, and she never thought to come and tell me that the phones aren't programmed. And this is what happens, is a lot of people who are the leaders in their organizations have no idea what's going on to that minute level, because the staff doesn't either think about it, or they deal with it, or they don't think they're going to be listened to, so they just don't say anything. So the very next day, I had the phone company out programming the phones, and now she's happy, she's more efficient, productivity rises, stress levels go down. Life is good.
Wow, that's awesome. I really like your style, your laid back, casual, simplistic solutions. And I could see you, if I got a call, hey, I'm having trouble in this area of the business, I could see myself thinking of you to recommend. So that's pretty powerful. Now you've got a book coming out pretty soon. Could you talk about that for a minute?
Oh, I do. Love to lead. Edicts of True Leaders and Why Others Want to Follow Them. Because through all my years, and I would like to think I'm still 25, but I'm not. And but I have been in management or leadership of some nature, whether it is in business, my own business, volunteer work, business affiliations, it doesn't matter. But I've been in leadership since I was 19. And I have seen bad leaders, good managers, bad managers. Managers and leadership, I think, are two different things. And it is just amazing to me how some people don't understand what it is. So there's so many leadership books out there that are good, but they're long and they're drawn out. And I do things that are simple. I am not going to write a treatise. I'm just not going to. That's just boring to me, and it's probably boring to the reader. So I have just a bunch of different quotes, short thoughts, ideas, and they're my own quotes. So I'm not using somebody else. This is 30 years of benefit of what I have seen, what I have observed, and what I've had to deal with as a manager, as a leader, and as an employee or staff or part of a team. And so they're short, they're quick, and you can take pieces of it and parts of it, and they all make sense because I make things easy to understand.
Excellent. Now, with the last 60 seconds that we have here, what parting thoughts would you like to leave with the listener?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I would love to be able to do something great like The Secret of Life. What the stock picks are for next week, that would be great. Lotto numbers.
Related to your business.
Yeah, exactly. But basically, in personalities and people that we come across, there is no right or wrong. There just is. And the more we can understand that, the better things will go for us and those in our business, as well as the personal satisfaction of doing a great job.
Excellent. Now, if the listeners would like to get in contact with you, learn more about what you do, and possibly connect with you, how can they do that?
Oh, that would be wonderful. My email is probably the best way. I'm an avid emailer, Beth@BethRamsay.com, and Ramsay is spelled Ramsay, not the typical EY.
Okay.
Because I have to be different.
Hey, that's what life is about. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. That was fascinating information that you shared with our listeners. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.